Good morning and gather in. Welcome to Bay Area Unitarian Universalist Church. I'm Reverend Katie McQuage-Loukas and my pronouns are she and hers. It is delightful to see you all on such a chilly, drizzly morning. I was telling Chris this morning this would be the day to play hooky and stay home in bed, snuggled up with a book, but I work here and y'all are here. And we all get gold stars for coming out on a day like today. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you have arrived here today in body, in mind, in spirit, whether you're joining us in person, whether you're joining us online, wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. If this is your first time with us, we are glad that you are here and you are welcome here. If this is your 500th time with us, we are glad that you are here. We are glad to be here together this morning. I have opening words for us from Jezebel Anat. Let us come into a calm, clear place where we can relinquish our clutter and relax from busyness into being. Let us settle into that calm, clear place where the earth supports our bodies, where the community lifts our spirits, where we can breathe in peace and center ourselves in love. Let us welcome our calm, clear place where our hearts can open and our thoughts can expand beyond the cobwebs of convention into the creative flow of infinity. Come and let us worship together.
Good morning. I'm Cheryl Henry, your worship associate for this morning. Julie Blandford will light our chalice. This morning we light our chalice, the symbol of our faith, and ask that we be reminded of our highest aspirations and inspired to bring our gifts of love and service to the altar of humanity. May we know once again that we are not isolated beings, but connected in mystery and miracles to the universe, to this community, and to each other. Will you please stand now as you're willing and able, and let's sing our first song, number 183, The Wind of Change Forever Blown.
Tomorrow's sun
These are the words of Esther Hurlbert. It is not always easy to find love at the center. There is not a set of easy instructions. It is not always easy to find love at the center. Today in Covenant, we celebrate our living tradition, which invites us to take deep breaths of fresh air into the newness of every day, so our minds, hearts, and spirits will be continually nourished. It is not always easy to find love at the center. So for today, we gather in covenant to celebrate the reality that love is at the core of our beings, and that love will guide us if we open ourselves to the challenges which love requires of us. May we accept this challenge with dignity and grace. Will you please join me now in repeating our covenant? Love is a doctrine of this church. The quest of truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve humanity and fellowship. Thus do we covenant with one another.
Our responsive reading this morning is number 536 in the back of the gray hymnal. Number 536. It is Morning Poem by Mary Oliver. Will you please join in with me on the italicized text? Every morning the world is created. Under the orange sticks of the sun, the heaped ashes of the night turn into leaves again and fasten themselves to the high branches, and the ponds appear like black cloth on which are painted islands of summer lilies. If it is your nature to be happy, you will swim away along the soft trails for hours, your imagination alighting everywhere. And if your spirit carries within it the thorn that is heavier than lead, if it's all you can do to keep on trudging, there is still somewhere deep within you a beast shouting that the earth is exactly what it wanted. Each pond with its blazing lilies is a prayer heard and answered lavishly every morning. Whether or not you have ever dared to be happy, whether or not you have ever dared to pray.
Good morning. My name is Gloria Miller, and I am the Director of Lifespan Religious Education here at Bay Area Church, and my pronouns are she, her. This morning is the story of Siddhartha. The story of how Siddhartha became Buddha begins even before his birth. Siddhartha's father was king of a small kingdom in northern India in the 6th century before the Common Era, over 2,500 years ago. Several years before Siddhartha was born, the king was visited by sages who told him his son would be either a great king or a great holy man. Of course, Siddhartha's father wanted his son to follow in his footsteps and be a great king. So when Siddhartha was born in 567 BCE, his father decided to shelter his son from the world so he wouldn't know about suffering and death. He thought that if Siddhartha never saw bad things in the world, he wouldn't want to fix them, and he wouldn't want to become a holy man. So Siddhartha grew up surrounded by all the comforts and privileges that money could buy. And when he became a young man, he married a woman named Gopa. He seemed to have it all. But the plan that Siddhartha's father made for him to become a great king was about to fall apart. Instead of accepting the life of luxury that he was given, Siddhartha grew restless living in the palace. And one day he asked his father to let him go on a chariot ride through the city. His father agreed, but then he told the chariot driver to stay in the richer parts of the city, close to the palace, and avoid letting Siddhartha see people who were poor or suffering. Siddhartha set out in the chariot with his driver, and before long, they saw an old man slowly hobbling along the road, looking as if he might fall over at any moment. Siddhartha had never seen such an old man, and he asked his driver what was wrong with him. His driver replied, "He is very old. His body has grown weak with age. You too will grow old someday. All people do." Siddhartha was disturbed, but he asked him to drive on. And then later they saw a sick man lying on the side of the road. He was groaning and looked very unhappy. And again, Siddhartha asked, what was wrong with this man? His driver replied, "He is sick with a terrible disease. Everyone gets sick sometimes, and someday you will too." Siddhartha felt terrible seeing this man suffering, but they continued their ride through the city. On the way back to the palace, they came across a funeral procession. People were crying and moaning, and for a third time, Siddhartha asked what was happening. Again, his driver replied, "Someone has died, and these people are his friends and family. They are mourning for him." When Siddhartha returned home, he could not stop thinking about the old man, the sick man, and the funeral. He thought about these things happening to his father and mother, to his wife, and to himself. He realized that all the treasure in the palace and all the servants waiting on him and all the beautiful things surrounding him could not prevent him or anyone else from the sad things that he saw. He realized he wanted to find a way to help people overcome suffering. And once he realized these things, Siddhartha knew he could no longer live an easy life in the palace. So one day he said goodbye to his family, and he set out to find the cause of suffering. He cut his hair and lived as an ascetic, someone who chooses to live in poverty and simplicity. He studied meditation with great holy men and discussed the problem of suffering with them. But after many years of living, he still didn't know why it happened or how he could prevent it. Finally, he decided to sit and meditate under a Bodhi tree. He vowed not to leave until he had the answer to the problem of human suffering. Siddhartha sat meditating day and night, still and calm as a statue for 6 days. And on the 6th day, he opened his eyes and realized he understood the nature of suffering. He became enlightened, and from then on was known as Buddha, which means awakened one.
Millie is our keeper of the flame this morning.
Focusing on the story of Buddhism today means we're leaning more into the meditative practice and a little less into me talking. And I wanted to warn you all in advance because I had a feeling that as the meditation went long, some of you would start thinking, my goodness, this is going on very long, and then there's a whole sermon, and you would not be able to enter the spirit of meditation while you're worried about how long I'm going to be up here talking. So you're all now warned. The meditation is longer because the practice is central. And I'll talk a little bit about it afterwards, but not as much as I normally would. So let's take a deep breath and settle in to this time, and we'll begin with the lighting of our Advent candles. Our Advent candles are counting us down through this season of waiting. They are cultivating patience in us. This season asks us to hold faith that all that we are becoming is still awakening under the surface of our lives. The second Advent candle is for peace. Pema Chodron, a Buddhist nun, says if we want there to be peace in the world, we have to be brave enough to soften what is rigid in our hearts, to find the soft spot and stay with it. We have to have that kind of courage and take that kind of responsibility. That is the true practice of peace. And so may this season of waiting inspire our courage. May we be brave enough to find that soft spot amid the pressures of the season and to stay with it as we discern our path forward. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be at ease and discover the practice of peace within us, so that there might be peace in the world. A candle for hope, a candle for peace. Before we light candles of our own, I do have one special candle to light. Some of you may remember Frank Cooper, who passed away this week. And so I will light a first candle for Frank's family, for the grandchildren especially. I think many of you knew growing up in this church, and we hold his family in our hearts. Whatever you have brought in the door this week, whether joy or sorrow or something in between, know that it is welcome here at this table. I invite you to bring it forward as you are moved to do so, to light a candle for yourself or a loved one or the world. Come forward as you are moved, and if you need a candle brought to you, please raise your hand. you please join me in meditation? First, get in a physically comfortable position, whatever that looks like for you. Feet on the floor if you can. And take a deep breath and notice it in and out. In and out. Take a moment to pay attention to your breath, to try to establish that moment-to-moment awareness through the waves of breath in and out. When you're resting in the flow of your breathing, imagine someone in your life who loves you or loved you unconditionally. Give yourself over to that feeling of being offered selfless love and kindness. Feel that entire aura of their love for you, right here, right now, around you. Breathe in those feelings. Rest in their warmth. Remember what it has felt like to be unconditionally loved and accepted as you are, without having to be someone else, without having to be particularly deserving. And you may not feel worthy or deserving, but that does not matter. That isn't relevant. The relevant fact is that you were or are loved, just as you are. For who you are now already, for who you have always been, allow your heart to be cradled in these feelings. To imagine yourself held in the beating, loving heart of another. If this is something that is difficult for you, if it's hard to imagine or remember a person, try to imagine someone treating you this way with vividness. Whenever you feel ready, see if you can incorporate these feelings and be a source as well as the object of the feelings. Take on these feelings for yourself as if they were your own. Notice the rhythmic beating of your own heart. Cradle in your own heart these feelings of love and acceptance and kindness for yourself beyond judgment. Bask in feelings of loving kindness like that of the ideal mother for a child, where you are the mother and the child. Rest in your own complete acceptance of yourself as you are right here, right now, in this moment. As you dwell here in this field of loving kindness, in this practice of loving kindness, you may find it useful to hear in your mind, "May I be safe and protected and free from inner and outer harm. May I be happy and contented. May I be healthy and whole to whatever degree possible. May I experience well-being. And you may hesitate to focus on yourself in this practice, to focus on our own feelings of safety and well-being and happiness feels like a selfish thing. But remember that you are not separate from the universe, and you are as worthy an object of loving kindness as anything or anyone else. You cannot be loving and kind unless it includes yourself. And you need not worry, it is not limited to yourself because loving kindness is limitless. You might want to think of this moment as a warm-up or tuning your instrument. So now open and expand the field of loving kindness from your own heart and your own body and your own being. And now in your mind's eye and your heart, evoke the feeling or the image of someone you care for, someone you were or are emotionally close to. Can you hold this person in your heart with that same quality of loving kindness? A child, a parent, a sibling, a friend, a neighbor. Breathe with them in your heart. Hold them in your heart. And remember that your images don't have to be perfect or vivid to be effective. Holding a feeling of them in your heart will do. And now wish them well. May they be safe and protected and free from inner and outer harm. May they be happy and contented. May they be healthy and whole to whatever degree possible. May they experience ease of well-being. Now, when you're ready, you can invite into your loving heart people for whom you may have more neutral feelings, people you don't know at all, people you've only heard of, and cradle those people in your heart and wish them well. May they be safe and protected and free from inner and outer harm. May they be happy and contented. May they be healthy and whole to whatever degree possible. May they experience ease of well-being. If you find your mind wandering, as always with meditation, simply notice that it is happening and return to the moment. Remember to include yourself in that field of loving kindness. And from here, I invite you to again expand your awareness to include someone or a group of people who are more difficult for you. Perhaps someone with whom you share a difficult past, someone who feels more like an obstacle in your life. This practice does not ask you to forgive them. This practice simply asks you to recognize that they too are human beings, that they too have aspirations and dreams and longings, and that they too desire to be happy and safe. So to whatever degree you feel ready for, Practice extending loving kindness to them as well. May they be safe and protected and free from inner and outer harm. May they be happy and contented. May they be healthy and whole to whatever degree possible. May they experience ease of well-being. Wherever you are in this practice is okay and right. Any of these levels can be difficult. It can be difficult to love people we see as obstacles, difficult to love ourselves. Wherever you are, it is the healing place you need to be. In the spirit of the limitlessness of love and of the heart, we can expand even further to include our neighbors and neighborhood, our communities, our state, our nation, the entire world. You can include all animal life, plant life, all sentient beings, the entire biosphere. You can include specific people, political leaders, whomever in your field of loving kindness. And it may be difficult if you differ from them, but all the more reason to include them. Perhaps they or you will soften in ways you cannot imagine. You can also specifically include in your field of loving kindness those less fortunate than yourself, people exploited at work or at home, those who are imprisoned justly or unjustly, all those who are ill or hospitalized, all those who are caught up in chaos, those who live in fear, anyone who is suffering in any way, shape, or form. Whatever brought them to this moment in their lives, they, like we, want to experience ease of well-being. They and we all want to be happy and contented. They and we all desire to be whole and healthy and safe and free from harm. In this way, we recognize that we are all united in our common aspirations for happiness, and we wish all well. May all beings, near and far, be safe and protected and free from inner and outer harm. May all beings, near and far, be happy and contented. May all beings near and far be healthy and whole to whatever degree possible. May all beings near and far experience ease of well-being. Let's take a moment to return to that all-encompassing biosphere, to the entire world. May our planet and the whole universe be safe and protected, happy and contented, healthy and whole. May our planet and the whole universe experience ease of well-being. And in these final moments, having stretched ourselves as far as we could to encompass as much of the universe as we could, let us return to ourselves. Let us remember that we too are worthy of loving kindness, and that we are not separate from the universe. Now let us take one last deep breath and return to the here and the now and to one another. One more deep breath. And out. Our prayer in song is, of course, may I be filled with loving kindness. So let us now sing the meditation we just experienced.
The reading this morning is the Metta Sutta, translated by Thich Nhat Hanh. Someone who wants to attain peace should practice being upright, humble, and capable of using loving speech. They will know how to live simply and happily, with senses calmed, without being covetous and carried away by the emotions of the majority. Let them not do anything that will be disapproved of by the wise ones. And this is what they contemplate. May everyone be happy and safe, and may all hearts be filled with joy. May all beings live in security and in peace, beings who are frail or strong, tall or short, big or small, invisible or visible, near or far away, already born or yet to be born. May all of them dwell in perfect tranquility. Let no one do harm to anyone. Let no one put the life of anyone in danger. Let no one, out of anger or ill will, wish anyone any harm. Just as a mother loves and protects her only child at the risk of her own life, cultivate boundless love to offer to all beings in the entire cosmos. Let our boundless love pervade the whole universe, above, below, and across. Our love will know no obstacles. Our heart will be absolutely free from hatred and enmity. Whether standing or walking, sitting or lying, as long as we are awake, we should maintain this mindfulness of love in our own heart. This is the noblest way of living, free from wrong views, greed, and sensual desires, living in beauty and realizing perfect understanding. Those who practice boundless love will certainly transcend birth and death.
And as I promised, knowing that we don't have a whole lot of time left in the service, I'm going to keep this short, even shorter than I had originally written. I do want to start with just one nugget of information that is not necessarily part of a well-constructed sermon, but I couldn't resist sharing it with you because I think it's fascinating. The first sutra that appeared in the English language appeared in 1844 in the Transcendentalist magazine, The Dial. It had been translated and published in French several years prior to that, and so Unitarian Elizabeth Peabody translated a chapter from the French into the English and published it in the essentially Unitarian magazine. And so there is a history of our people being fascinated with other faith traditions, and that seed that I think would grow to become our multi-faith communities of today. And of course, there's the appeal of the exotic and the unusual and the different, but I think there's also the appeal of a new perspective, of a different way to think about who we are and how we do the things we do. Buddhist compassion models a way to care about the world and to love the world and be a little less attached to outcome. I think we have experienced a certain amount of grief in recent months over deep attachments to outcomes. And I think it's been very difficult for a lot of us to sit in that space of knowing that we do right things and it doesn't always work out. And part of Buddhist practice is to inhabit that loving, kind space for ourselves and to act the way we wish to act in the world, and know that outcomes are not always going to be perfect and not under our control, to realize how many things really are outside our realm of control. The practice of metta meditation also reminds us that other people have their own aspirations and dreams and ideas of what it means to be happy and safe and well, and they might not match our ideas of what it means to be happy and safe and well. And so the practice encourages us to understand the feelings of others and to imagine something different, to lean in to empathy. We're going to have our congregational meeting in a little while, and we have started the congregational meeting in the time that I've been here with reading a portion of our covenant in the congregation, our covenant of loving kindness. And we read the big, bold headlines, but there's actually a lot of detail in there that asks us to do some of that work right here in this space. To imagine the reasons why other people might have come to the conclusions that they've come to make space to allow and encourage them to do that. And I would encourage you, if you never have before, to read the whole document and not just the parts we read together at this coming meeting. What I think is interesting about it is that the covenant is a community guideline. It's not just my solitary practice. It's not even the practice of 2 or 3 people. It's this whole community. Collectively asking ourselves, what does it look like if we all behave this way? What does it look like if we all imagine the inner lives of others? What kind of community do we need to create for every single person in it to feel safe and happy and well? No matter what else we bring through this door, and we bring a lot of things through these doors, we're here because that is a question that matters to us. Whether Christian or Buddhist or humanist or I don't even know, because that's a valid answer too in this place, we're all here because we have that question. How do we live well in this world, and how do we make this world a little bit better than it was when we got here? And so this covenant is a way that our values come to life. And the practice we did today is a way to experience it, not just talk about it or think about it, but feel it, which is something we don't quite do enough of in UU spaces, I think, sometimes. There's a real push right now in Unitarian Universalism for us to think about ways to ground our longing for action and our longing to live out our values. And one of the things I wanted to offer us today was a perspective on that is not coming out of our Christian heritage, and that's not coming out of our philosophical heritage either. because I think we need as many different ways to enter that space of loving kindness as there are people in this room. I hope some of that has happened today for some of you, because that's how we're going to build the world we dream about. May it be so. All right, my friends, another spiritual practice, and I know I say that a lot, but I mean it. Gratitude and generosity are practices, and practicing them reshapes our spirits week to week. Our congregation does not receive money from mysterious denominational places. It's us right here in this room. I encourage you to give as generously as you are able to support the work of our congregation here in the building and beyond the building. If you are a visitor and it's your first or even second, third time among us, do please know that your presence is gift enough.
Please join me in blessing the offering. This gift from the abundance of my life blesses me, our ministries, and the world. We have a lot going on these days. Lynn, where are you? Lynn has something to tell us about that's going on in the foyer there.
morning. My name is Lynn Young, and I am the care team lead. And for the third year in a row, we are putting together packages that will be delivered to homebound members or people who don't get here as often as we wish. And in those packages, we would like to include lots and lots of cards. So when you go outside of these doors, you will see two long tables that have beautiful bags all standing up nicely, and there are names and pictures of the people that we will be delivering to. You will also find lots of cards. Please sign as many as you would like and put one in each bag. Some new people ask me, well, what if I don't know them? That's fine. When you are sending these, when we deliver, and we will hand deliver them to the people on the bags, when we deliver them, we bring with us all of the positive thoughts and caring and love from you and from the rest of the congregation to these people. Are they going to recognize all the names? No, they're not, and that's okay. So please take a few minutes today, during the week when you're here, or next Sunday, to put a little note, thinking of you, missing you, hope you are doing well, and sign your name. And if you are interested in visiting some of the homebound, please let me know, and we will find you someone you can visit. So please join us in that. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. We have a lot of other things going on, a lot of announcements here. There we go. Join us as we celebrate a decade of volunteerism. Our 10th annual volunteer holiday luncheon will take place next Saturday, December the 14th at 11 a.m. You can enjoy a delicious spread prepared by Darcy and our wonderful volunteers. Darcy wants to say something too. She's mouthing to me right now. Come right on up here. Okay.
And the guys, our lovely guys, will be serving.
Okay, thank you, Darcy. You can still RSVP. Please do so by Tuesday, next Tuesday. And there's also a sign-up sheet located in the foyer to Cockrell Hall. Then be sure to join us next Wednesday night for dinner, December the 11th. The menu sounds wonderful. Savory pulled porks. Now this is going to make you hungry, and you can't leave because of our meeting. So I hesitate to read the menu. Savory pulled pork served over rice, roasted vegetables, and salad. We'll also have a delicious option of savory portobello mushrooms and tofu. And dessert will be a decadent, is it Basque or Basque? Cheesecake. See, y'all don't know either. Okay. It's cheesecake. Okay, come enjoy a delicious meal and wonderful fellowship next Wednesday, and then you go to Vespers after that. Okay. 'Tis the season to deck the halls and gather in community. Join us for our holiday potluck brunch next Sunday, December 15th at noon. We're rolling out the red carpet, or should we say the red tablecloth, for a festive feast. More food here. The church will provide the ham, and we invite you to bring your favorite dish to share, whether it's Grandma's famous casserole or your go-to holiday dessert. Let's make this potluck a delicious celebration of our shared spirit. And Santa and Mrs. Claus will make a special visit, spreading joy and holiday cheer. Please join us for a delightful ornament making and sing along with Christmas carols led by Clara Farrell. It's a merry way to embrace the season, celebrate our community, and create meaningful connections that make this church feel like home. We can't wait to see you there. Our annual mitten tree is now up in Cockrell Hall and ready for your generous donations. We invite everyone to bring new, that's in capitalized, so that's capital letters, new, mittens, gloves, hats, scarves, socks, umbrellas, raincoats, and ponchos to decorate the tree. All donations will go to Search, a Houston-based organization dedicated to helping thousands of homeless families rebuild their lives. When Pancho Claus visited our church, his heartfelt message was, "I am not Pancho Claus, you are." He encouraged us to share our good fortune with those who are less fortunate, especially children, during the Christmas season. We invite you to honor his message by contributing to the toy collection box in the Cockrell Hall foyer. Please bring a few toys by December 22nd to help bring joy and hope to children in need this holiday season. Now, after today's service, we'll take a short break, then be sure to join us back in the sanctuary here for our congregational meeting. After the congregational meeting, families, parents, and children bring your appetite and a dish to share, more food, for a delightful family potluck lunch in Cockrell Hall. While the children play and are cared for, parents can engage in meaningful discussions about parenting topics. Don't miss out on this perfect blend of food, fun, and parenting insights. And finally, here at Bay Area UU, we understand the importance of staying connected with the community. That's why we offer a weekly newsletter every Tuesday with the latest news and events happening here at our church. Don't miss out on the opportunity to engage in meaningful activities and connect with fellow members. You can sign up for the email list using the QR code on the screen or by going to our website, bauuc.org, and join our community of spiritual growth, fellowship, and fun. Okay, first verse of the last hymn, so please stand as you're willing and able. Number 181, no matter if you live now, far, or near.
My closing words are not actually Buddhist, they are Taoist from Lao Tse, but I felt that they were appropriate. If there is to be peace in the world, there must be peace in the nations. If there is to be peace in the nations, there must be peace in the cities. If there is to be peace in the cities, there must be peace between neighbors. If there is to be peace between neighbors, there must be peace in the home. If there is to be peace in the home, there must be peace in the heart. May we all have peace in our hearts in the week and weeks ahead. Go in peace, grab some coffee, come back for our meeting.